welcome everybody to episode 23 of Beers in the Lot. We got a fun one this episode. We're talking to one of our good friends from our league, Matt Goodwin. We call him Goodie. Goodie the goalie. He's going to give us a goaltender's perspective on warm-ups and facing certain types of players. And we got to hear him tell a pretty cool story about meeting Mike Richter. So let's go. Let's get into it.
All right. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's open these beers. What you pouring there, Riggs?
So this is the beer that I recommended to you earlier. Well, I guess not earlier in the week because it's the middle of the week. So over the weekend, I guess. It is from Old Mother. It's called Hank. It's just a regular old American lager called Hank.
All right, then.
And
that's right up my alley.
I think it would be right up your alley. Yeah, that's right up your alley.
I'll have to snag some of that.
What do you have, Aaron?
I've got a Genesee Honey Brown. It's incredibly mediocre.
Oh my god. Oh my.
It's not bad, but it's not great. Probably won't get any more.
Oh my god.
What do you got, Johnny?
So I have a repeat because I was clearing out the fridge. I have a Buzz the Tower, which is a Top Gun can art from Calvert Brewing Company. It's a ale with raspberries and cold brew coffee. I really like it. It's a little fruity, but every now and then those aren't bad, especially since it's been cold lately. I don't mind the cold, but every now and then I wouldn't mind a little warmer.
You're the guy to talk to about the coffees, that's for sure. You get the coffees a lot.
Yeah, I'm big like
you're an aficionado.
Stout porter, coffee type fellow. Into that. So yeah.
How about our guest? Goodie, what you got tonight?
Folks, Hershey and all things in Hershey, Blood Orange Ale.
Right on. Well, let's just go to the introduction then. Tonight we got Matt Goodwin, Goodie, one of our longtime goalies in our league and great friend of all of us here. May have noticed that we didn't have a beer from Daniel tonight. He is at home celebrating with his wife on their second child, who was born over the weekend. Welcome, Nolan. So we're all really happy and congratulating him for that. So he gets a night off tonight. He's earned it.
He'll be fined. Don't worry.
He'll be fine.
He'll be fine.
No, man. No, come on.
Just kidding.
That's perfectly good reason.
I agree.
On.
I'm just making a joke. I kid.
Rigo being the voice of reason here.
No, we were talking on the Discord earlier today that, you know, the Beers in the Lot podcast has a strong paternity leave program. It's unpaid leave.
Unpaid.
But we can only be so progressive.
You know, you could definitely take, a week or, take a couple weeks off.
Yeah, the head of the union wouldn't approve paid leave. That guy's a real jerk. That's what I heard.
Yeah, the BITLPA.
Yeah. We don't have a really strong player representation against the union. It's really bad.
But yeah, we decided we'd ask on Goodie tonight because we got some goaltending topics to talk about.
Yeah, so in the warm-ups of a New York Islanders game, and Aaron hates that we're talking about the Islanders again, but we're not actually going to talk about the Islanders.
We're talking about what happened, not the team.
Again. But yeah, so they're in warm-ups, right? Everybody's buzzing around and they're shooting on net. And Cal Clutterbuck, who we're all huge fans of.
Big fan.
He says.
Love the guy.
Absolutely smoked Semyon Varlamov up underneath the mask, I think, and injured him. Although then he posted like 2 shutouts, I think. So maybe it helped him, but it got me thinking about, like, when we go out for our beer league games and we're in warm-ups and guys are skating around, and it's really, for some guys, it might be the only time that they get to shoot on net or on a goalie. You know, and so they may not know what is the proper way to warm up their goaltender before a game. So I thought, who's a goalie that we know that plays in the beer leagues consistently, and might have something to say about how to warm up your goalie properly. So I thought, oh, Matt Goodwin, Goodie.
Hey.
So yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, as a recipient of the special to the throat in the past, I can definitely speak to not enjoying the wake up call that is. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty vocal when it comes to warm ups. Like, if you're playing on like a more structured team, like when I played organized hockey back through, whether it be Intums or in college, you have your warm up that you kind of put together with the captains of the team, because some goalies want to be mobile, some goalies really just want to get their eyes moving. So you actually get something that you put together that you kind of last throughout the season. For me, it was always, I wasn't a huge fan of the hook at the top of the blue line coming back in. I was always more, I wanted to be moving side to side. So we would set up drills around that. But in men's league, it's always, what is it? You have the arc at the top of the circles where some guys are going to not make it to the crease, and some guys are going to try to remove your skull. And that's basically what you get. So for me, to what happened to Varlamov, the one rule is keep the friggin' puck down. Like, because again, I know most of the guys in most of the leagues. So if a puck comes on my head in warm-ups, I'm just like, all right, you're done for the night. Like, you don't get to shoot anymore. I skip you from now on. And we carry on, because warm-ups are, to your point, also, like, as a goalie, that's probably the only shots I'm going to get, probably for the breakaway off the opening face-off when no one's paying attention. So if I want any hope of not getting, lit up, that's the only chance I'm going to get any work.
So, like, in warm-ups, like, what do you want to see? What do you want guys to do? Do you want them to kind of like give you a look at each side low, each side like basically trying to hit your blocker and your glove? Like, what do you want to see, Yeah,
I mean, you guys have all played with me plenty. Like, I particularly, since the way I play is I make a lot of down plays. Like, I move on the ice a lot. I'm not type of guy to shuffle or stay on the edges a lot. I'll probably stay in the butterfly most of the time. So I just want shots that are going to hit me, because I'm not going to make a big push to try to go make a save. I want you to hit me with the puck, but not in the head, obviously. And basically, if you do that, I'm going to get work. It's the big cardinal rules. Like, if you ask most goalies, especially like in men's league, is don't come in and try to dangle something. I'm just going to step out of the way. Like, come on. Do that on the one breakaway you'll get the season, and just don't try to pick a corner. Like, hit me with the puck, because to the point of that might be the only work I get. It's an old cliche, but I need to get the feel of the puck. Like, okay, how are my eyes moving? Because that's from the more heady goaltending perspective, that's when I'm going to make those adjustments. That I'm going to go, okay, I'm a little slow on the move, so I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive in my depth today, because I'm not moving as quick. So I can't get side to side as quick. So I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be a little more aggressive here. Or my angles aren't great, so I'm going to compensate that way. I'm noticing I'm getting beat here. Like, that's going to be the only time, because like we might play once, twice a week. As much as it's beer league, I don't like getting scored on. So that's probably the only chance I'm going to get to see how my eyes are working that day, or how my legs are working that day. If I'm chasing the whole time, I got no clue. Because, like, to the point of like the guys here is, throughout playing men's league, as a goalie or in playing any level of hockey, you kind of know what to expect from certain shooters. Johnny scored on me more times backhand than I care to admit. And
right.
That bothers me a lot. But to that point, Johnny's going to shoot on me backhand in warmups. Like, Johnny's always going to take that short angle, high backhand, wish he was Cindy Crosby, try to go below the bar. warm-up shot, but that's going to give me the shot against that. So Rigo is going to beat me blocker high 1,000 times, and I'm going to want to tear my hair out there. But at least I know what to expect there. So it's kind of getting used to the different areas I can work on as I know the players I'm going to play with.
So what do you do when Daniel's bearing down on you?
I move. Want the goal that bad in warm-ups, you can have it, buddy. I'll put it on the score sheet if you want to, if it makes you feel better. But I'm
out. I just asked because he's probably the best shooter out of all of us here, possibly in our men's league. So, I mean, besides like one or two guys. So
it's kind of funny. You mentioned, kind of our tendencies a little bit, and you still get beat because obviously we play men's league. We're all not pro. But are there certain things as you've gotten older? Because I know as I've gotten older and we played against each other in high school and stuff, you and I have known each other for a long time. I know for a fact there are things I've gotten better on as a hockey player, getting older, not necessarily, I'm definitely further away from my playing days than anything else, but you as a goalie getting older, what do you think, if anything, you've gotten? I mean, I don't really want to say better because I think we all kind of plateaued long ago, but being a goalie where it is a little more demanding in a adult sport than, your traditional, kind of like us playing forward or D, where we can kind of, I wouldn't say mail it in, obviously, but yeah.
Well, sometimes.
What are some things you've either worked on and gotten better, or do you think you've gotten better on too?
Well, yeah. So for context, when we played in high school, and I always hate this fact, but the one time like when we were in high school that we made like playoffs against each other, you scored the overtime winning goal against me. And when I was
thanks.
Still hate that fact to this day, but I'll give it to you. But, when I was younger, and even when I was, making the transition into men's league, I was always awful technically, but super athletic and able to make those kind of like highlight reel saves and just kind of like outwork, frankly, men's league. So that worked to my favor. But as well, beer put weight on my gut. That's not really a thing anymore. I can still make that, but not, 10 times a period. So for me, you look at if you compare to the pros, you look at a guy like Roberto Luongo, who really had to reinvent his game once, twice, 3 times throughout his career, because as a goalie, you have to see where you're getting slower. Like, I'm not as quick to make a quick recovery, get back to my edges and get on my angles. So I have to learn to control my rebounds better. So that's where I've had to get better, or, learning to play the puck, because if I can get the puck out of my zone as opposed to let it sit there for a prolonged shift, that's going to let me in my old age get a breather. And especially guys on the team is going to let us get a breather. Whereas before, you're like, whatever, you guys will get it out, have fun. And if it stays in the zone, that's more work for me and I want more work. So like that's had to be over the years, like how I've had to kind of adapt, because it just, Father Time's undefeated. And I definitely have gotten a lot slower. But the beer gut takes up a lot more net, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Has great rebound control, for the record. It's awesome.
Got a quick chest. Quick gut.
Fastest chest in the league, baby. Fastest chest in the
league.
Right. You were saying about facing, so many shots a period and everything. So the listeners know Goodie is also, he's our goalie when we go up to Johnstown. I don't know if Aaron mentioned it before, but the first year that we went up, in the first game, how many shots did you face?
You're talking about the game against the Chiefs alumni?
Yeah.
That's, and this is no exaggeration, the most work I've ever gotten in a hockey game. Like, and it wasn't like just like mediocre shots getting thrown. Like, every save felt like I was stopping, Sid or Connor McDavid. Like, every save felt like a monumental life affirming achievement, because I think we're talking like 30, 40 shots a period.
Yeah. It was bad. First of all, our team was bad.
Yes.
And then we played against a team that was like all former pro, current European pro, former NCAA, like at least high-level junior players at some point in their lives. So they all knew how to play like a pro-style game, and we did not.
And for like every goalie, the goal, like existentially, there's this bar of you never want to give up double digits. Like that's just when you feel like everything's gone off the rails. And I remember just being like, I want to keep this under 20. Like I want to keep this under like double what my normal 20. Unacceptable level is.
It was. I think it was like a. I know we scored first. I know like
correct.
We scored first. I remember that. And then it went way off the rails. And I think it was like 9-1 with maybe like a minute left. And they had one guy on their team that was still going hard. And we were like, if this guy scores the 10th goal, like I turned to one of the guys next to me and I was like, we're gonna dump the bench and we're gonna go get this guy. Like, we're not like, this is stupid. And then he goes down and he takes like a slap shot. I think it was like middle of the ice, top of the circle in to get the 10th goal, and we're just totally deflated, like so pissed off. I don't know if you remember, but it was bad. We were bad.
Oh, I mean, that is easily the worst team because how many years have we gone to Johnstown now?
Since 2016 or 2015.
Yeah, so
5 years. Yeah.
We're 5 years in, and that was, we were going in blind. So with any tournament, you're going in wondering what that level, what's an A level, what's a B level, what's an over 40 level. Yeah. And most tournaments, you can basically guess. And this is just far and away just a different tier of hockey. And most of those guys, I remember after the game, it's part of like the goalie experience when you go in and you get shelled. And if you're playing against a team that's just better, but they're pretty cool, they always come up. The amount of free beer I've gotten in my life for just enduring shellackings is comical. Because a lot of teams are like, thank you for not getting crappy. Thank you for not slashing, because if you're a team that's good, you could get a lot of goalies who are just going to like lose their mind. I remember them coming up to me afterwards and just because we get the beer tickets and just like basically offering me as much beer as I want with it. I'm like, guys, I need water and I need a nap. Like I would normally love a beer, but if I drink a beer, one Bud Light or one whatever they had on tap is going to kill me. So I got to turn you down here.
Do you guys have any Pedialyte on tap?
Yeah, I do. Can I get Pedialyte? Is there a nurse? Can I get an IV? Because I need fluids, not the beer kind, and soup.
Well, and it's funny you kind of mentioned like, and I know you and I have played on teams like this, Goodie. I think all of us at some way, shape, or form, whether going to that Johnstown tournament or in general, where we played teams where not only were not in their league, but out of their stratosphere. I mean, it's just so embarrassing. And I actually find like, even though we get kind of, massacred, it's fun because those guys are like normally, at least the experiences we've had so far, all those teams have been cool. That's a good experience. Yeah. It sucks on the scoreboard. It's kind of deflating, like Rigsby said, but every experience I've had thus far, everyone's been cool in that. And on the teams I played with, no one on our team, thank God, has been an ass. I probably wouldn't accept it. I think that's just poor in general. But
I think especially like with that trip, like when we go up there, we all know like what it's about. It's not really like we're going to go play, we're going to go skate, but it's really more about like, hey, let's go away for the weekend and like pretend like we're real hockey players and have fun, like.
Well, and the first game is always such a weird place for me to be in because I usually work and I drive, like I don't come up in the caravan. The first game, everyone but me is buckled. It's always
true story.
It's like it's now a rite of passage. It's a rite of passage for me every year. Where like I remember the second year, I actually got kind of shitty because I it's always tournaments are always fun, especially as a goalie. Like that's probably the most like in a zone you get because you're playing games back to back to back. And I remember the first game like getting kind of shitty because I was getting lit up because it was a good team. We were mostly buckled, and here I'm the sober guy. I was in a state, and like I had to like check myself a little bit because like you're saying like this is about having a couple of beers. Yeah, it's fun to be competitive, but it's not what that first game's going to be. So now it's like a rite of passage to me. First game, I know. All right, just survive, have fun with it, stack the pads a couple times, and expect that everyone is going to lose the puck. So never get lazy because it's coming back immediately.
Yeah, that's about right.
That's awesome.
And the guys are always great about it because guys always like, oh, I'm sorry. And now it's like, what do you apologize? Fuck it. Like, just you owe me a beer later. Like, grab me a beer at the bar. We're good to go. Like, see ya. Right. Like,
I just realized that John's beer, he's got to buzz the tower. Was that deliberate?
Yeah, buzz the tower warm-ups.
But
buzz the tower warm-ups.
I didn't even think about it now.
Yeah, that took me a solid
it took me that long.
Get.
Oh my god!
That took me a solid 3 counts to catch the joke.
See, buzz the tower.
And this is actually a chance for me to ask like the alternative question. So like a lot of times there's the question of like what do goalies want more of, but for me, what are you guys as like skaters trying to do, or is it just like we're waiting for the fucking puck drop? Like, is there something you guys are actually like trying to do in warm up?
So Goodie, I think like me, and you've either warmed up against me or seen me pretty much. Like, I don't take a ton of shots in warm up. For me, it's more I want to handle the puck. I'll take a few wrist shots, and then, like you said, a few backhands, and that's literally just to make sure, okay, the stick feels good. I think my hands are going to work tonight. And for the most part, I just kind of glide around. I don't do much during warm-up because it's men's league, and I'm kind of more like, let's get into it so we can drink.
Right.
That's just me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. For me in warm-up, it's kind of like Johnny said. Like, I want to handle the puck a lot. Honestly, I kind of am more comfortable shooting on an open net.
Weird.
I don't know why.
That's so weird, Aaron. You want to shoot on an empty net?
Back trying to get an empty net goal this year. Like, oh my god.
It's
you
true.
know you love empty nets.
I'm shocked Aaron hasn't stood up on his soapbox for Mitch Marner after Neil Pionk tried to hit him last night and then Scheifele got in his grill about the empty net. I'm shocked Aaron's guys. I'm shocked Aaron hasn't been like, those guys need to be suspended.
I don't get what the big deal is about empty nets. You guys make this big case about, empty nets, whatever. Who gives a shit?
So anyway,
all right.
No, but I'm not a good player, so I don't want to shoot on a goalie because I'm still working on the puck going where I want it to. As Eric will attest, I can't even pass it to him standing still in open ice.
Stationary pass.
2 times.
3 times.
2 times.
Yeah.
It was twice.
Yeah, the third time
I think that's why it's hard for me to get
twice. Yeah, you skated away the third time.
You know what warm-ups are for? It's for preventing injury. That's it. Just get out there, get things loose, make sure, joints are still working properly, skate around a little bit, get a little sweat going, and then, let's go. That's it. And like when I'm shooting on goalies, right? I'm trying to hit you. Like I want to hit, like what I try to do is I try to hit your left leg pad, your right leg pad. I try to throw you one to your glove and throw you one to your blocker. And then I'm done. Then I'll stop shooting. That's it. I'm done. Now the thing is like I can't hit all
you're
those
one of those
things.
guys in warm-ups. You look your shots in warm-ups. You do. So to the original question of like, what do we want? You do one of the things that like personally I very much like appreciate is you look your shot. So I know where you're gonna shoot for. So like I say, like controlling rebounds. I know you're aiming pad, so I'm gonna go down and kick that pad out because I know you're shooting there because you pause. It's like if I'm gonna make a checklist, you pause, wait for me to make eye contact with you, and then you shoot. So I can see where you're going to shoot it, and then I can react accordingly, as opposed to, oh, he's kind of facing me, let me shoot it. And next thing you know, that nice little rib meat part to the side where I don't have a lot of padding, it has a nice puck mark on it because it's like, well, you were kind of facing me. What?
Yeah, the old rib save. Yeah. Did that on purpose. That's how I like to save pucks.
Oh my god. I have more like to the Varlamov thing. I have like if I run my hand down because I use an idiot, not wear a dangler. And you know, if you look at like Varlamov in the replays of what happened to him, he actually wears his like very high. So like I'm talking to my goalie buddies. I was like, what's the point? Basically not even covering anything extra. Like, why is it there? Like he wears it super high. And I have, because I'm an idiot, didn't used to wear one. So I have like dents throughout my collarbone because, again, I'm not very bright and decided that stopping pucks with my bones was better than, you know, protective equipment. That is not the case anymore. But that's, you know, where Varlamov, like, he wears his because so many goalies hate, like, the dangling, the jingle jangle of it bouncing back and forth. And that's why you see guys like Carey Price and a lot of these other goalies who are really good at tucking their chin. And who are, well, professionals, don't bother because they always are able to get that nice tuck, whereas those of us who have the reaction times of a, you know, squirrel are not that good.
I played goalie once, like back in Squirts, because we didn't have one, and we won. Like we played this one team, we were gonna beat them anyway. We beat them all year. And we won like 15-3. And like my teammates were like, "Oh, you did a good job." I was like, "I let in 3 goals. I'm never playing goalie again." Like I just, I stood there. It was so boring. I couldn't. I'm not wired for that. Like I gotta move. I gotta do stuff. Because even as I'm watching the play, I'm still like kicking my feet. I'm like, man, really wish I was out there. I'm like, oh, I could have shot that. Oh, I could have passed that. Oh, I'm just sitting here.
Those are the things that never go away when you're a goalie, man. Like I mean, goalies are crazy. Like there's always like people, again, you guys give me shit. Like I'm always fussing with my pads and whatnot because it's like, if you don't have something you're doing that kind of like engages you in some way, it's just not fun. Especially like if you're on a good team. Like, all right, I'm going to be here for the next 15 minutes doing fuck all. So like, you have to balance that. Do I look like a tryhard, like doing push movements in the crease to try to like keep warm, or do I like stand here and stare at the clock? Because neither is particularly great.
Well, and you even see like the NHL guys will do like the mental activities, like they'll spray. I know Holpe, like he's big on like spraying the water and watching it fall down, and everyone thinks it's like an OCD thing, but it's more like a focus thing for him. He has to focus, like this is to keep my head in line. Yeah.
It's little things because, you know, you see it like watching an NHL game, you see it watching men's league. Like you don't get a shot for half a period and then the next flubber just blows by you because you're kind of just half asleep, especially when we got ice time like 10:45 at night. I'm like, guys, if I'm not gonna get some work, I'm gonna take a nap in here because I'm not gonna get like my blood pressure, my heart rate's not gonna be up for this. Like I'm not skating, I'm not doing things. I don't know why you think I'm suddenly gonna be able to, you know, stop a 2-on-0. So what's the deal? We're crazy. What do I say?
So Goodie, quick question for you. Is it easier to stop someone with a really good shot who you know is coming down on you on like a 2-on-1 or even a breakaway who can shoot, or someone who you know does not have a good shot where they consistently throw dribblers or these 2-mile-an-hour wimpy wrist shots on you? What's harder to stop?
The good shot's harder because with the flubber, I just go, I'm going to get real big, and I'm just going to assume that they can't dangle past me.
That sure works on me.
What's scarier? The guy with no shot. Because I have no idea what's about to happen, and if I screw this up, I'm going to need to leave. So, like, That's always because like I know like the guys in our league who are money on a breakaway. I know generally even what they're going to do. You got the guys who are shooters, you got the guys who are danglers. Even still, like it's probably going to be a 50-50 split. The thing that's anxiety provoking about the guys who are just your lower level players who just don't have those hands is they could accidentally make you look like a child because they're going to do something that I have no idea what happened. So that's the hard part about that. So like I almost would prefer the better player because if they beat me, they beat me. I don't, I'm not sitting there like, Christ, what's about to happen? Jesus God, like, is he going to accidentally like go bar down? Because we've all seen that.
Yeah. This is why chess grandmasters don't play low-level players.
It's
because the low-level players, they are going to make a mistake that is actually harder to play against, and they could potentially lose because they don't know what they're doing. Speaking from experience, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying something. Sometimes it works.
well, and that's why like there was a period where I was playing a ton of hockey, like 4 teams, like 5 nights a week, and I was subbing for like a D-level team, and I subbed one game, and I was like, it was fine there. It was, I'm going to sound like an egotist here, but it was well below my level of play. But then I went back the next day and played where I normally played and just got friggin' shelled. And my buddy who ran like my normal team was like, you're not allowed to sub for lesser teams anymore because you forget how to play hockey for like 3 weeks because you just don't leave the goal line and you get beat under the bar every time. It's like, you're banned from subbing from other teams. That's how the lesser, like the chaos theory of it screws through your head, because like if you're playing against guys, like again, really goalie heady here because I'm a nerd for this stuff because I love I miss one of the things about COVID I really miss is like goalie coaching. Is if you're playing against that more chaos, you're going to send the goal line because I have more time to react. Whereas against a better player, if I send the goal line, they're going to make me look very, 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 very bad, and I'm going to give up a lot of goals. So if I'm going to sit on the goal line for 2 games playing in D level and then come and play, against some of our better guys, first 2 shots are going right over my shoulder. I'm like, why am I getting beat so? Oh, it's because you haven't moved your feet in 6 minutes, dude. Like you haven't actually cut an angle off.
So who is a bigger hero, Goodie? Richter or Lundy?
Hold, please. Let me see. Okay, I got 1, 2, 3, 4 Richter jerseys looking around me.
Yeah,
I actually
share.
So not only do I share a birthday with Mike Richter, I actually learned how to play hockey from Mike Richter.
Wow. Answers that. That's cool.
He has. So I grew up in Stamford, Connecticut, and I actually grew up playing against Johnny Quick. He was a dick since I was a child, and probably still is, but unfortunately, he was always this good at hockey. But I used to go to camp up in Lake Placid, and Richter had that's where he spent his summer. So he would come out to this camp I would go up to, and I remember like when we first were going to meet him, the coach for the weekend was like, "All right, first thing you're gonna notice is he's like 5'8", like he's gonna be short, but his legs are like the size of a friggin' tree trunk, and you're not gonna quite know what to look at. So." Just be ready, because the guy, again, like old school goalies now, like they're super spindly, but like old school goalies, they all look like that picture of Marty St. Louis with the giant friggin' legs. They all look like that, and then 10%. And again, he was like this nicest guy in the friggin' world. And we went out, and again, I'm like 10 at the time, and we go play around at golf with him after, on ice training. And he's a super quiet, super nice guy. And like, I remember him teaching us to do like diving poke checks and like stacking the pads because it's 1994 and that's still a thing. But yeah, no, I grew up worshiping the ground that guy friggin' walks on. He can do no wrong in my eyes.
The 94 Rangers actually got me into hockey.
As they should have, because they were the perfect hockey team, damn it.
Yeah, they were great. I started following them in the Islanders when they were playing the Islanders, like early round. And then my dad was from New York, and he said, "Yeah, I think I'm going to follow the Rangers this year in the playoffs." And I started watching, and I was like, "Hey, this is pretty awesome."
I was I was an extremely lucky kid, and so my dad, when I was younger, ran the company that made all the programs for Madison Square Garden, and so we had tickets to like friggin' everything. And I was extremely lucky. And I remember bits and pieces of the story, but it always comes up at like every friggin' Thanksgiving. Anytime I had like a new girlfriend that I would bring home for Thanksgiving, this story came up to me looking like a child, like me looking like a friggin' hot mess of a human being. But my dad brought me to the famous Matteau game.
Yeah, right.
And I apparently, when Stefan Matteau scored that goal, because we were there, ran off and hid in the bathroom because it was so loud. Like I had like a panic attack.
Oh wow.
And so I'll never forget. So then he refused to take me to the Stanley Cup Finals. And my dad is at Game 7 when the Rangers win the cup, and I'm sitting in my parents' bedroom, like both thrilled that the Rangers won the cup and furious that my dad didn't bring me.
Oh,
so
man.
I'm sitting there like,
Didn't
8 years old. I'm just furious. And when he comes home, I'm like just tearing into him. I'm like, you should have taken me. I could have been there. And all he was just like, you literally ran away in Madison Square Garden. Like, what do you want from me?
All right, Matt Goodwin. Goodie, thanks for coming on. Thanks for spending some time with us and talking to us, giving us a new perspective on a game we all play, but don't get to see out of your eyes that often.
Always
thanks
a pleasure.
A lot for coming on.
Yeah, I appreciate the everyone who had to endure me talking about goaltending for an extended period of time. I apologize to anyone who had to suffer through that, but it's always a pleasure.
Well, we really appreciate it. Thanks a lot for coming in.
Always, man. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Goodie.
That's going to do it for this episode. Thanks again to Matt Goodwin for spending some time with us talking hockey. Before I let you guys go, just want to remind everybody to join us on Discord. You can get there at beersintheLot.com/Discord. We got folks starting to drop in and talk to us, so that's pretty cool. Come on in and hang out. Don't forget to follow us on social media accounts at beersintheLot. And thanks again for listening. And one last congratulations to Daniel. Happy birthday, Nolan.